Hi, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. This is part 2 on how I made this 8.5 by 6 inch mini album. This part shows you how I did the different elements on the back of the pages and how I add the pages to the book. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of the backs of the pages so you remember what they are, so when you're making them you can refer to this. So here's the back of page 1. This has a magnet and it's got a flap that goes down and a flap that goes up. The back of page 2 has flaps that go from one side to the other. The back of page 3 has longer, bigger flaps that attach with a magnet as well. And page 4, this comes off completely and this opens like that. And page 5 is just a long, bigger pocket. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to make all of those and how to put the pages in the book. Okay, now that we've made the base pages, now we're going to do the components to go on the back of each base page. So here's the base page. It's a tube. There's the front, there's the pocket, and here's the back. So each page will have a different backing. Plus, we're going to do the front inside cover and the back inside cover. We're going to start with the front inside cover and do a waterfall. So I have cut 4 pieces 5.5 by 5.5. Actually, I took what I had from scraps and I think they were already cut, so I'm just going to go with that. And then I have one piece that's 5.5 by 12. The 4 5.5 by 5.5 pieces, we're going to simply score 1/2 inch on one side. Now, of course, with most of your cuts and scores, you trim the edge. With the waterfalls, you don't. Okay, so we have 4 pieces that are all scored on one side. Is that light? Good, bad, indifferent? All right, and then we have this one piece that is 5.5 by 12. We're going to score this at 7. Wait, let me check. Yep, score at 7. All right, we'll remove the scoreboard and take these 4 pieces and the indentations on the top. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to burnish. Now on the waterfalls, I don't always, usually I don't use Scor-tape. I'm going to use glue because that way there's a little wiggle room to adhere it and make sure it gets straight, because of course we want our waterfalls to be straight. All right, so those are all scored. We're going to start at the top. I'm going to add my glitter glue to the folded area. Not too much, but not too little. And then you've got the score here at 7, so leave that alone. And we're going to start at the left-hand side at the top. So I'm going to put it down right at the top and make sure the side is lined up. And then when I think it is, I'm going to burnish. I'll open that up and do the same with this one. So I'm going to put this right underneath that last one. Make sure the side is lined up, which should have this lined up, which it does, and then burnish. Oh, this artisan cardstock really makes things beautiful. All right, we'll do that for the remaining 2 pieces. Okay, and the last one. So you could use the Scor-tape here, but again, if you use a liquid adhesive, it gives you some time to adjust it and some wiggle room. Beautiful. So that'll go like that. And then this will fold up here. And we're going to go by later and put magnets. But in order for me to remember to do that, I'm going to put a circle here. And this can't be adhered to the back of our, oh, this is going inside cover. I don't want to adhere it until I've gotten the decorative paper on, because there will be about 1/2 inch on each side. So I want to make sure the decorative paper is on. You know, now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking it doesn't need to be a magnet. You could use a turnbuckle, I don't know what you call it, or any other form of closure. I mean, a magnet's easier, but sometimes a magnet gets in the way of the waterfall. I got to think about that, and we're going to move on to the next one. So the next one is going to be the inside of page 1. And that one I've got 3 pieces cut. They are, one of them is 4.5 by 7, and the remaining 2 are 4.5 by 7.5. The 4.5 by 7 just put aside, and the other ones you'll just score 1/2 inch with the long side up at the top, 1/2 inch on the short side. And then this, I'm going to use Scor-tape and glue. So I'm going to turn this over and put Scor-tape here. Burnish. Before I fold it, so what this is going to be, it's going to be a big accordion. So one will adhere to the bottom, so I'm going to fold that one and fold both of them. Just wanted to make sure. All right, so we're going to take one, remove the backing, add a dab of glue, line it up to what will be the bottom. And burnish. And then this one's going to adhere onto this one, the one on top. Okay, so that's going to be the back of page 1. I'm going to put that aside. The back of page 2 is going to have 2 flaps, and the pieces are 4 by 5.5, and you're going to score on short side on both of them, 1/2 inch. And for right now, I'm just going to add the Scor-tape and not do anything. I'm gonna put these all on as I go, and we're just preparing all the backs of the pages right this second. And you know, I'm gonna go ahead and miter the corners since I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm gonna put those aside. Then I have, for the back of page 3, I have two 4.5 by 7. And these we're going to score on the long side, so the short side will be at the top. Did I say 4.5 by 7? Yeah. So score on one side for each of those. And we'll adhere Scor-tape. Miter the corners. And I'm going to fold and burnish. Oh, I got fingerprints on that one. I was just seeing if they would come off with an eraser. And I'm looking for my that's powder in there. Oh, just trying to lighten them up. All right, let's move that on. Next one. Page 4. You'll have two 4.5 by 5.5. These are going to go top and bottom, so we're going to score on the long side at 1/2 inch. And add your Scor-tape. And miter your corners. And let's put those aside. Going pretty quick. I'm not doing anything too crazy with these. Oh, so the back of page 5 is going to be just a long pocket. Now, if you wanted to, if you had a corner edger, you could, not a corner edger, a border punch, you could go ahead and do a design on here. If you wanted to, you could do a notch with a circle punch, or anything you wanted to make this a fancy schmancy pocket. I'm going to leave it plain for now. I'm going to score on one long side at 1/2 inch, and both short sides I'll score at 1/2 and at 8.5. And we will put on our Scor-tape. And miter the corners. There. And then of course I'm going to go in and take off a little more than a right angle. It's probably the only thing I learned in geometry class. All right, going to turn this over and burnish the folds. Of course, that helps burnish the Scor-tape at the same time. Alrighty, so there's our long pocket. So that's going to go on the back page. So the reason I try to do something fairly simple on the back page is because I've got a pouch on the back page, and I just want to keep, I don't want the elements to bump into each other. So we keep that simple. All right, so now for the back cover. I have a 6 by 6 inch piece. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and then grab a corner rounder if you want and round the corners. We'll add Scor-tape to this. Just because the other one's more involved, I want to get this out of the way. Okay, there's the top of the patch. Now, so I have a long piece. It's 4 inches wide by 12. I'm going to trim this down to 8 7/8. 8 7/8. And then we are going to score this. We're going to score it on the long side at 1/2 inch. So, and then we'll rotate so the long side's going to be up at the top, short sides to the left. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch. 1, 1 1/2, and then rotate and do the same. 1/2 inch, 1, and 1 1/2. All right, add Scor-tape to the bottom. You don't need it all the way across, just that bottom section. And then the outside on each side. All right, I'll burnish that. And then grab your scissors, and we're going to cut at a slight angle. So here's the score. We're going to go over about 1/16 of an inch and go to the corner. And this one also I'm going to miter and go up to that first score line. And this one will go ahead and miter, go up to the first score line at an angle, and then again here, go about 8/16 of an inch away from the score line and go past 2 score lines to the third. And miter this top slightly. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over. I'll fold this part up towards me. And then these 3 flaps we're going to accordion. So fold in and burnish, out and burnish, in again and burnish. So same with this. Fold in and burnish, out and burnish, in again and burnish. So now we've got an expandable pocket. All right, gonna put that in the pile, and I grabbed a scrap of paper, and I've got, is it 1/2 inch? I think so. No, it's more. It's 3/4 of an inch circle punch. And I'm going to cut 4 circles. We're going to make the accordion style pocket. So I have 4 circles. I'm going to put liquid glue on 2 of them. And make 1 thicker circle. Now if you want it to stand up, you could use a 3rd one if you wanted to. And a lot of times I'll put designer paper on top. I'm not going to on this one just because I want to show you how it's all done. And I'm going to grab a hole punch. So you could use just a regular hole punch. This is, oh, does it tell me? Yeah, 1/8 of an inch. And just try to center it. And just make a hole. The We Are Memory Keepers one, you don't have to push as hard. I mean, it's got levers in it and all sorts of things. So that makes it easy. So just make a hole. And I forgot to get it, so I have to get it. My bag of tricks. I'm going to grab 2 brads. Alrighty. And I'm also going to grab some string and just have this cut to be ready. All right, I am not putting this in yet. I'm just going to put the brads in. And keep the string and the little circle things all together so it's ready when I need it. All right, now we're going to put everything together. All right, make sure you have top and bottom. This actually is the top. Well, since I put everything in a pile front to back, I'm going to go back to front to adhere everything. All right, so I'm going to take this pocket. This is our accordion pocket for the back inside cover. I'll remove the paper backing of my Scor-tape. And grab my art glitter glue. And before I put this on, I'm going to push this down and push this. Probably should have done it before I put the glue on. Do as I say, not as I do. And then add more glue to this piece. And this will go on the bottom of the inside cover. And I'd stay closer to the right-hand side. You don't want to get it too close to the spine of the book. Put that in and burnish real well. I'm going to take my bone folder and go inside just to make sure it's adhered. And it is. All right, and then I'm going to take the top Just dry fit it first. Yep. Add my art glitter glue. Of course, you don't put the glitter glue on top of the score tape. You put it alongside it. And then there we go. So we have the pouch, and that's where these are going to go. And I'm going to take these and stick them in the pocket so they don't get lost. All right, let's grab our pages. And so again, here's the front of each page, and here's the back. And we're going to be adhering everything to the back. So for the last page in the book, so that's page 5, this is where we're going to put our long pocket. And again, you could have used a border punch or a kind of tab punch. Something if you wanted to make it a little more decorative. I just think in this, knowing, sort of have a basic idea of what papers I'm going to use for each page. And this was going to have decorative element on the page. Okay, so this is the right-hand side. Here's the left-hand side. This will be the outside of the book. This part's going to go towards the spine. So here is the folded bottom of the pocket, and I'm going to put it down there on the bottom and varnish. Okay, so there's a large pocket. All right, I'm going to put that aside. Pull in my next pocket, make sure I have it the right way. So here's where it opens. So I'll turn it upside down. Page 4, the back of page 4 has the two 4.5 by 5.5 that are scored at the top. I did not fold and burnish. Let's do that now. Add a dab of glitter glue. May have said it before. My theory is the glitter glue holds real well, but I put the score tape on so it holds everything together while the glitter glue dries. So I'm going to put one at the top. Did I get that? And then one at the bottom. And I would more justify it towards the left-hand side, meaning don't push it over to the right, keep it over to the left more than the right side. If that's at all possible. There we go with that one. All right, next one. All right, there's the front. Turn it over. And this is going to go like that. So we'll go ahead and remove the score tape. Add the glitter glue. So I'm going to center this on the left-hand side, top and bottom. So there's about a 1/2 inch left on the top and the bottom. And we'll center this one on the right-hand side and make sure it's level with the other one, meaning there's 1/2 inch on the top and the bottom. And there's lots of glue. Grab my baby wipe. And varnish. I'm going to open this up and varnish. Okay, take that. Move on. So this one, make sure it's the right way. All right, there's that, there's that. So this one, again, I need to varnish and fold. So these are going to go, one's going to go top, opening one way, and one will go on the bottom and opening the other way. Nothing too fancy. We're making this easy. I mean, you can add whatever elements you want to on the backs of these pages, and it sort of gives it a whole different feel, but yet there's a lot of room for photos and journaling. I just wanted to have a couple of different elements when I'm showing this, just so you get some ideas. So that was about 3/4 of an inch on the top, so I'll go 3/4 of an inch left on the bottom, put it on the right side. It's going to overlap a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. I'll probably add a magnet to it. All right, so now we're done with that. One more. All right, here's the front. Turn it over. So this one has the accordion fold. So I am not going to adhere this because I want to put the pattern paper on first, but it's going to open like this and then like that. So I'm just going to leave this, put it in my pile. And so now what I have left is the front cover, and that is going to be where this accordion goes. And again, I'm not going to put that in right now. I'm going to wait till I put pattern paper down. So now we're done with that, but before I go any further, because the next step is putting all the pages in the book, I want to adhere magnets, and I want to show you how I do that. So the magnets will go you want to have enough room, so if you have pattern paper, let me get a different color paper. Now, how is it possible I have no different color paper in here? We'll use this. If you have pattern paper here with 1/8 of an inch or however much you use, you want to make sure that the magnet's going to cover and the pattern paper will be able to be adhered to the gray paper or whatever your base page is. So you don't want to go too far in because then it might interfere with the photo. You don't want to go too far out because then the pattern paper won't cover it. So I put that mark there, and that's a little bit, really, it should be here. And you want to make sure it's centered. Now you can eyeball it, and that's what I'm going to do. So I use the basic gray magnets. They're very easy to work with. I'm going to take out a positive and a negative one. And I'm just going to show you on this one page, and then you guys go ahead and do it. And you take one, doesn't matter if you start with positive or negative. And you adhere it onto the page. Then you take the other one and you let them kiss, as they say. Peel off the backing and then close the page. Push down, and that's where that one's going to go. So I would go through and put it on all of the pages now. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll get back, and then we're going to put the pages in the book. Now we're going to put the pages in the book. You may decorate the pages first and then put them in the book, but I'm going to show you how to do it now and then decorate it. to me it helps because then that way I can see the flow of the paper a little better. You know, if you have two pages side by side, you can match the paper. But in any case, I also ended up trimming this down a little bit more. You know, we had cut the hinges at an angle. I cut it yet a little bit more because they were really snug. So now that I trimmed it, it goes in a little better. So what I'm going to do is peel off the backing of the hinge to the back. I'm going to go from back to front. So I'm doing the last page first. So I peeled off the backing, and I'm going to take some art glitter glue and I'm going to run a bead of it along the very top. So to me that helps seal it, the pages. If you have pockets, which we will, not pockets, but pages that are going to go in the pockets, this will help seal it so those pages don't get stuck on the adhesive, the Scor-tape. So now I'm going to open the tube and I'm going to just simply slide it in. I'll do one side and then the other, wiggle it down a little bit, make sure it's even. So I have about 1/8 of an inch showing because we only had the Scor-tape, the 1/4 inch Scor-tape on the top, so there still was some room. And it looks even on both sides, looks even in the book. So I'm going to push it down. And then move on to the next one. So that was page 5. Page 4 is this one. And so this is the front. I've already put the magnets on the front. I'm going to take off the Scor-tape. Add a bead of the art glitter glue. Now you may find this is unnecessary to do, but you know, I've just gotten in the habit of doing it, so I continue doing it. In my mind, it helps. Open up the tube, slip one side down, and then the other. Make sure I go down. So there's about 1/8 of an inch showing. Push it down there and push it down there. Okay, and continue on. And I'll go back and burnish it real well later. You know, I try to go real quick so the glue is still wet when I burnish it. So it again helps seal this end of the book. I have my window open, so that's why you may be hearing things. All right, and then open it up. Push it down. And I don't use a lot of the art glitter glue because I don't want to cover the, I don't want it to cover the Scor-tape. The Scor-tape still needs to work. Now some people just use art glitter glue to hold everything, and that is perfectly fine. If that's what you would like to do, that works for me. This is the pocket with nothing on it because we're going to add the element to it after we decorate. And just make sure it's even with the other ones. And there we go. All right, and then I'm going to take my bone folder and burnish. Oops, now that folded, that's okay. Once we put the decorative paper on it, it'll be fine. You won't even know. All right, fabulous. So let's do a walkthrough of the blank book. So we have the waterfall we're going to put after we put some paper on. That opens like that, and there's a pocket. There is room for a hidden pocket there. And then this we're going to put the tri-fold, I don't know what you call it, three-piece folding thing on there again after we put the paper on. That'll open like that. I usually try to put that there so it doesn't hold in too much, but it's fine. Now this one, there we go. Once we put paper on, it's fine. So I probably need to add a magnet to here, which I'll do at some point. This opens like that. There's a pocket. That opens like that. There we go there. Pocket. That opens like that. Now this one, I sort of call this a window. We'll do one of those library style closures for here too. I need to make that. This will open like that. And then there's a big pocket. I added a little bit of ATG, which will just come off now, just so when I was putting the page in, it wouldn't go wonky. But it's off. And then there's the accordion pocket with the top flap. So there we go. There is the book. Now we are ready to start decorating it, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. And that was part 2 of the tutorial on how to make this mini album. Look in the description box below for part 3, and we'll continue on making this mini album. Thanks so much. Don't forget to hit the like button, and please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video.